Hey everyone, and welcome to Uncharted Realms weekly event. I'm Brent, alongside streamer to be named, sitting in the production booth, excited to bring you this week's event. It's Out of the Box Gaming's Armory Classic Constructed event. Out of the Box Gaming is a store local to Thomasville, North Carolina. They have in-store play and a trading card marketplace to buy singles online. So if you're looking to update that deck for your road to national events, or you want to just switch it up a little bit, check out Out of the Box Gaming in person or outoftheboxgaming.com. So today we got a 10-man event for us today, Classic Constructed, 4 rounds. So make sure you stick around in the middle between round 3 and round 4 for the prize support. But to start us off here, we have John on Chane and Joel on Chane. So should be a nice fun day there. And we should have a lot of spicy Runeblade action here in the first round. So 40-40 to start us out. We're in a little late on the gameplay here, but we are going to catch in with our players here in the middle of Joel's turn there. So he's coming at John there with Unhallowed Rites, so it's going to be 4 with Go Again. Thanks to the fact that he'd made a Soul Shackle. John's no block's going to take it, fall down to 36. And Joel's going to follow it up with a Red Flock. I like it. Nice little generic attack action there coming in there. He was able to reveal it. So we got a Quicken Token. Quicken Token will allow Joel there to make more attacks with Go Again. The problem I think he might see here, though, is if he follows this up with the Shadow, which it looks like he won't. It will pop that Quicken Token. So he's just going to wisely arsenal it and pass on back. So Joel, not too bad of a turn. Over into John's, his Soul Shackle sees Command and Conquer straight off the top. That's not what he really wanted to see, but Chane doesn't necessarily need to get there early. They're very incentivized to just kind of build up these Soul Shackles and move on. So Art of War to start off, banishing a Riftbind. Gonna go ahead and draw 2 and get the +1. The +1/+1. So +1 to the power, +1 to defense. Power is what matters right now. Oh, hold on. Rewind. He wants to go again. He wants to banish Go Again. So he changed his mind there. John taking it back. Joel being very nice, letting him do it. We like to come across as a casually competitive area for people, so you know, whatever makes it fun for both players, and whatever gets in there with the best gameplay is kind of the motto. So John now with Go Again on all of his attacks, or excuse me, his next one. Keep in mind that'll allow him to create a Soul Shackle later. So Soul Reaping to start, banishing Seeds, so he's going to have some floating energy up to 3 there. Thanks to the banish effect, he's allowed to float all 3 of that. Doesn't have to pay for it because it's an addition. It's a alternate cost. So there's no cards there in the Hero Soul, so it's gonna have just a straight Go Again there from the Art of War. So Joel, no blocks there. Gonna go ahead and take the 6. How everybody's doing today? Let me know how you doing in chat. And who do you have in this match? I got Chane. I got Chane. Who do you got? Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know how your road to nationals went yesterday or this weekend if you're actually out there playing at one. All right, so Seeds to follow up into another Riftbind. So 1 arcane damage followed in there by the Riftbind. It should be a +1 or +2. No, Art of War is an instant, excuse me, so it should be just a +1. So Joel's not going to block any of it. He's going to take 5. So 1 from the arcane, 4 from the attack. And then a meet and greet. So 1 resource floating, 1 card in hand for John. Joel just trying to figure out the board state there. So far, he's kept a nice grip, getting ready to come back on his turn. If meet and greet hits, it will create this rune chant. Not exactly the most relevant, but the biggest thing here on the card is that He's dealt arcane damage. So meet and greet does have go again. So Joel gonna go ahead and take the 4 there. Using his life total as a resource. And falls down to 11 below his opponent. So John, objectively, having an absolute monster return. So then we go Plunder Run, Nebula Blade. Plunder Run was the pitch. Allowed Nebula Blade to come in for 4. Should be a Rune Chane as well right here. But it looks like they had forgotten about it. And now he's got the Rune Chant there. So Nebula Blade came in there for 4. A little bit of a missed damage there by John, but that's okay. All things considered, not too shabby of a turn. Not too shabby as a turn. So Joel already down half of his life total here at the back of John's turn 2. So now we go into Joel's turn, though. He's got a full grip to work with and that Quicken token to start us out. Soul Shackle also was a miss. Just a Plunder Run there in the Banish Zone for Joel. He has the Ebb and Fold if he needs to get more Banish in there, but definitely needs to come back out with a big monster attack. So our war, both of our players starting out with a not too shabby. So +2, 1 and Banish. Thanks to the fact that he has got that Quicken token to keep going again. So Bounding Demigon's the Banish. He will be able to play that out of his Banish Zone. It's a decent effect. So now Joel's got a lot of cards to work with. Remember, he didn't block at all. So he likes what he's got. He thinks he can sequence through a monster attack. Remember, he fell down from 39 to 20 in the last turn. Needs to make up that life total either this turn or grab cards out of the hands and start getting the tempo advantage. One or the other is what he needs to do. Joel's trying to sequence it through. There we go. Ebb and Fold. No, doesn't want to do it. Going into the tank a little bit here. What would you do in this situation if you were playing this Chane? You know, you only got 1 Soul Shackle, 1 thing in Banish there. He does have 5 cards in hand or 4 cards in hand plus the arsenal. All right, so Ebb and Fold puts a Riftbind into the Banish Zone. So Joel gonna opt for a Plunder Run in hand, from hand. So no arsenal plus effects, but it will have the hit effect to draw a card. And then we got the Bounding Demigon coming out, which pops the Quicken token. So it gives it go again. And so Bounding Demigon will come across, and if it hits, Joel will draw a card, and it has go again, but it has no other plus effects minus its own card. Gets the +1. So just a little confirmation of the game save from both players there. John trying to figure out if this attack has go again, and it does thanks to the Quicken token. John considering what he wants to do. It's only a 5 attack, but here we go. So Joel's got 2 cards out of the hand so far. Chane players are incentivized to just pretty much block early. Allow the Soul Shackles, allow their Banish Zone to really be their hand. It's almost like a dredge effect from Magic. Just let your graveyard give you some extra cards. Now we see Seeds of Agony there from Joel, Soul Shackle, and then a Riftbind. So 3 pump plus an Arcane after the Soul Shackle. So oh no, Seeds doesn't trigger. Yeah, so the Art of War doesn't trigger. He indicated, but it should just be +3. Oh, and then +1 for the Art of War. He's just indicating that there. So 5 coming in total. Because it's a blue Riftbind. Did not trigger the Seeds there because that's a blue Seeds as well. So the next one he plays for 0 will come across with 1 point of arcane damage. This did have go again thanks to the Soul Shackle. But now Joel's got a lot of cards in hand that he's almost got stranded. So Shadow Verser coming out of Arsenal. It's the one we saw from last turn. And throws another Riftbind in there. So it's got go again. 1 arcane damage there from the Seeds. +1 from the Art of War. John opting to block 1 of the physical there with his Grasp. with the equipment, making use of the equipment while he's got it. And now deciding how else he wants to do this here. If it hits, Joel will have the option to draw a card. Ooh. John did not block it. And looked like we went through there. Players moving a little quick there. Joel's going to have... appears to me, unless I missed something, had missed the draw effect because the last card had been blocked. Shadow should have been the draw, but that's okay. Joel going to follow up with the Rift Bind that he had banished there thanks to Shadow. Coming for another 5. So he still got there. So not too shabby there from Joel. Brought the life totals back down 23 to 20. He's still in the negative life total wise overall, but tempo advantage not too shabby. He got 2 cards out of the hand there from John, and his grasp is at 2 counters, so he is not going to be the happiest there. But John starting off with a Rift Bind, coming into an E-Strike. So 1 Arcane and E-Strike for 7. So a total of 6 damage here. All right, Rune Chane as well coming through there. Joel only blocked 3 there. Just double checking to make sure they had the Rune Chane going through. So not too bad. 2 arcane damage and 7 off the E-Strike. So a total of 9 represented there against Joel. Joel falls to 18. Uses equipment there to keep his life total high. And it looks like on his Soul Shackle only found a Rift Bind. A Flock also found its way into the Banish Zone. So far, these Soul Shackles aren't quite hitting anything too spicy yet, which means that we're going to see some spiciness later on. But both of our players are already down into Blitz life total. We're only a few rounds into it. Both of these Chane players are just coming at each other, just being savage with each other. But we're back into Joel's turn, trying to decide what he wants to do. He's debating. Has an option to Soul Shackle, give a go again if he needs to. Has the grass to work with, has a Snapdragon still. So Joel's going to start with a Shadow Berserk. Go ahead and get something else in the Banish Zone. So he put a Seeds of Agony there into the Banish Zone. So 2 go again. No blocks there from John. Falls to 21. Now Joel pops a Soul Shackle. So up to 3 Soul Shackles there. How quick this, you take a look at the life totals and look at the Soul Shackles. You're like, there's no way this is this game. But yeah, no, it is. So Soul Reaping there coming across. 1 floating resource there for Joel. John, no blocks there, taking the full 6. And now he's got Seize and Riftbind there to work with out of his Banish Zone. Plays both Seeds. Uses the floating. Coming in with the Riftbind. Boom. I like it. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good attack. So plus 2 Arcane and 5 off the Riftbind. So total of 7 there. So Joel, not too shabby, coming back across with another explosive turn. John going to pop his Husk. Block all 5 of that and take 2 on the Arcane. Falls to 13. Joel will take Blood Debt from his own Carrying Husk. And we update the life total to 16. Excuse us. And there we missed one. It was down to 16 now. So John is going to be taking, both of our players are going to be taking a damage a turn on the Carrying Husk. Something to keep in mind. Ghostly Visit also there sitting in John's Banish Zone. On his Soul Shackle. Also found an Unhallowed Rites. As we go back into his turn. He's got a decently sized grip to work with. But he is now at the life total disadvantage. So if both players end up blocking all, taking Blood Debt, Joel has the advantage on board as it stands. John, considering how he wants to sequence the turn. Starts out with the classic Seeds. still considering, though. It's going to be a little bit of a slower turn. John really needs kind of a... He needs a tempo take-back turn. Yeah, that kind of rhymed a little bit. Well, not even rhyme, but... What is that? Alliterate? I don't know. Whatever the same... all you English majors out there can tell me when you say words that'll start the same sounding, but... That shows you. You get that college education there, folks. Or you end up like me. But anyways, no. So John seeds, and then deciding how he wants to do it, pitches his tome to be able to cast Unhallowed Rite. So did not want to. Normally you see a tome Soul Shackle, but opting not to do that this time. So blue seeds here means no arcane damage coming across yet. But Unhallowed Rites for 4. And it did allow John to put a non-attack action card with Blood Debt from his graveyard to the bottom of the deck. So that's what you just saw there. Joel deciding what he wants to do. He's got 3 Soul Shackles and right now a 4 Grip Hand. Likely wants to keep that. John's at 13 life, and that is manageable for Chane players if he hits some money on these Soul Shackles. So Joel opting to take the 4, falls to 12. So Ghostly Visit, coming across, another 4. John's got 1 card in hand left. Remember, he's got the 1 damage guaranteed every turn here from the Carrion Husk. So at worst, 13 turn clock. Likely going to finish this game out here in the next couple of turns. So John would need likely just going to be able to come in with the Nebula Blade after that. Or this could be his final bit there. Joel throwing a Grasp in there. Blocking for 2, taking 2. So life total falls 13 to 10. Snapdragon, give it go again. So had technically missed the Snapdragon, but I think we're going to be fine with this. We're going to see. Joel's letting it go. So the damage should have gone through, but that's all right. We have a little bit more of a casual kind of day. No reason to rule shark anybody. So Snapdragon Scalers is an attack reaction. So when John mentioned the damage going through, technically would have missed his chance to have the attack reaction there. But so Battling Demigod, this is going to pop the seeds as well. So 1 arcane, 3 damage. Joel takes all 4 of it. Falls to 6. John takes 1 from the husk down to 12. So this is a very crucial turn here for Joel. Kept the cards in his hand. Uses equipment where he could. Okay, so found Howl from Beyond. And that was it on the Soul Shackle. So not exactly the Soul Shackle turn Joel needed. And when we go back to John's turn, he's going to have 4 there to work with. So Joel has to rip cards out of hand here, or he is likely going to find himself losing this game. But he has the option here. He has a chance here to just effectively close it out. Deciding how he wants to sequence it. It's going to probably take him a second here. It's a very crucial turn. It's definitely a tough one to consider. Has all 4 cards to work with, but it's not easy. His opponent's sitting just a little bit too high, and his Soul Shackles didn't quite hit what he needed. Lost that Art of War. It's a pretty big card there. So red Plunder run from hand. Joel's not going to get any pump effect there, but trying to get the draw effect. So Howl from Beyond. Now we got that pump. So next attack is +3. E-Strike for 7. With no go again. So Joel forgot to activate his Shackles this turn. Could Snapdragon though, actually, if this hits. So 10, but has a chance to give it go again. And if it hits, he'll draw a card. John just realizing that with the Snapdragons. But no resources floating, no cards in hand, nothing in Banish that Joel can play. So pretty much John has to decide whether or not that card Joel draws is going to be enough to kind of continue stuff going. So just another clarification on the look here. I would have to imagine that Joel wants to Snapdragon, if anything. So John not defending it. Joel will guarantee to draw a card. Joel popping the Snapdragons. Give it go again. So 10 go again. Not bad. Falls to 2, John does. John's on a 2-turn clock now with just Carrying Husk. Joel could effectively block 12 every turn. So Soul Shackle. All right, so Soul Shackle, Nebula Blade coming in for 4. John needs to block both of these. So yep, so blocks 4. Plunder Run and Seeds, 2 apiece. So Joel rips 2 cards out of John's hand. And Joel takes the damage there from the Carrying Husk. Has the advantage now. So if John hits money here on these Soul Shackles, he hits 3. Or no, excuse me, hits 2. 3. There we go. So you have Unhollow Rights, Seeds. So starting with the Seeds. Not a bad Soul Shackle turn. You do know that John is dead in 2. If I'm Joel here, I'm very incentivized to block out. But it could also potentially just die if he doesn't take enough cards out of John's hand. The nice thing about Chane, though, is you get enough Soul Shackles that you end up just, you have enough cards in hand. I think we lost Joel. I think we might have lost Joel here for a second. He appears to be frozen. Or maybe not. Maybe he's just sitting statue still waiting for this game to happen. On the edge of his seat. So John coming in with the Nebula Blade. With no go again. Didn't Soul Shackle. So just 4 straight up. No, Joel was just sitting statue. He was waiting. And Discord collapsed on us for a second there. Sorry about that, guys. right in the money zone too. Like, damn. That'll probably actually do it. Okay, so yeah, but at the end of the day, John just gonna go ahead and concede, opting that he was not gonna win that game. He still technically had a chance, but would have died on his next turn guaranteed because he forgot the Soul Shackle. I wouldn't necessarily say unceremoniously dips out, but dips out a little bit quick. And so for us, that'll call it there. Joel takes round 1, Chane over Chane. And that will do it for round 1. Catch us in at round number 2, and we'll come back at you guys soon. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Uncharted Realms weekly event. We're in round 2, and I'm Brent, sitting alongside the streamer to be named, excited to bring you Out of the Box Gaming's Armory Classic Constructed event. In round 2, we got Joel once again on Chane, this time against Chris on Boltyn Sabers. So going to go more combo-y look. Before we get started here though, this Armory event is brought to you by us, Uncharted Realms, but sponsored by Out of the Box Gaming. Out of the Box Gaming is a store local to Thomasville, North Carolina, and they specialize in in-store play, got a lot of space in there, and they have a marketplace for singles online, which is a little bit more relevant to most of us here. So you can go and get your get those nice, sweet, juicy cards, or get that spicy card you got beat by. I know some of you probably have been sleeping on that Exude Confidence. Go buy some up. But that besides that, we'll get back into the gameplay here. So we had a 10-man event today, 4 rounds, Classic Constructed. In the first round, we saw Joel take it over his opponent, John. John was a little bit upset at the end of the rounds. Didn't quite sequence as he needed to, but and ended up going to die to his own blood debt. So Joel took the win there, but had a pretty commanding tempo lead at one point. It was very back and forth game. And this one is going to be more of Joel leading the action as Chris sets up his combo. So we got Chris starting in black and white here at the top of your screen first. Has a little bit of a red hue to it, but you know what? not the best. So we have our first attack here from Chris. Coming in with an Express Lightning for 3. He did charge. So no going again currently. The biggest thing in this matchup is Joel is going to be blocking with attack actions, most likely. Runeblade does have a lot of non-attack actions, though. It's relevant for Boltyn's ability to plus up his attacks after charging if blocked by an attack action card. Joel just checking in the Centauri Sabers, which also double in the effect. So Joel, not considering, we're in turn 1. So Joel is going to get all these, is going to be able to draw up if he needs to, but so far just blocks for 2. There's no go again on this Express Lightning right now. So Chris is just going to Arsenal and pass. So Joel didn't, most likely has 3 other attack action cards there in the hand. It did not want to allow Chris a chance to continue the chain, but Chris is more likely than not okay with just getting card into the soul and moving on. He's looking to get a big Lumina Ascension turn where you see him swinging in with all these sabers multiple times, trying to get 2 or 3 apiece if he can. 3 might get a little bit spicy. That require double Luminas, but he is going to need cards in the soul to give go again. So over on Joel's turn, we got just a Nebula Blade coming in. If it hits, create a rune chant. He did Soul Shackle it, so it does have go again. No +3 effect right now. Not likely to find another one there. So Joel likely just has, like we said earlier from turn 1 there on his turn 0, likely just has attack action cards in the hand. And drew up another attack action card. So Chris gonna throw 3 in front of it. Not necessarily an overblock, because it was an attack for 1. 1 card for 1. So far, so good for Chris, our Boltyn player. He's just gonna try to set up his combo. It's Joel here, another flock here. So double 2 games in a row gets to start off with the flock of the Featherwalkers. Get that Quicken token. Not too shabby. And so Chris defends for 6. So Joel himself just trying to set up his own next turn with the Quicken token and the Soul Shackle. He's going to have 2 abilities to give go again. And he's going to Arsenal card, likely that Art of War. So it's going to be very spicy for turn for Joel there. So Chris coming in with a Bolt of Courage. Gets the charge. If it hits, draw a card. So it's only for 2 right now. Likely not going to hit here. But Joel is just confirming the cost of the card. It is a 0 cost attack. And Chris charged it. Joel might let this one go through. Remember, he's got an Art of War in his hand, so he's going to look to just do spicy damage on his own turn. So he may be okay with this hit, allow the Boltyn to draw up. It does have the grass, so he can throw in front of it to block all 2 of it. And that's what he does. Throws the grass in front of it. There's 2 there, no reactions. And that will do it there for Chris. Draws back up, no cards in Arsenal, just 4 in hand. Over into Joel's turn, 4 cards in hand there, 1 card in Arsenal. We know he's got an Art of War. Soul Shackle finds a Bounding. Joel's got the Quicken token and a Soul Shackle here to work with, so this is going to be a very spicy turn. Chris is likely going to soak up a lot of damage here. Or at the very least, take cards out of the hands. And start the tempo advantage for our Runeblade player. Likely to see Joel start off with an Art of War banish, draw 2. But Joel's considers sequencing. There it is. So Art of War. +1/+1 and banish. And there's a Shadow. Nice. Good banish. Shadow's going to be able to get played out of the banish zone that you would likely imagine at some point this turn. Along with the Bounding. I don't expect Joel to take any blood debt, but he does have a lot of cards to work with. So there's a chance he mis-sequencers or forgets some go again, but nope. So red plunder run. So this is going to give +3. And on the next attack action hits that draws a card. So Joel's getting super pumpy here. He's pumping it up. And so here's the bounding coming out. Quicken token going to give it go again. So it's a total of 8 thanks to Plunder Run and Art of War, giving it +1. So it gets a +1 because it came out of the banish, so 4 of itself, and then plus an additional 4 from other effects. Look at that, Joel with an 8 attack, 0 cost, go again. Woo! That's pretty spicy. That's almost ninja level of attack. Chris gonna throw 4 in front of it, 1 card from hands, and his gauntlets. Ooh, and a Fate Foreseen there, so gets to opt 1. That's another 4 defense. Leaves it on top. He likes what he sees. He's, again, building up the combo. So 2 cards now out of the hand here from Chris. But did not take any damage. You'll likely see him just keep throwing cards in front of it, throwing cards until he gets those Luminas built up. And his 1 charge attack he needs to turn it all on. Ooh, Joel, considering just moving on from there, I think that would be a mistake. Okay, calls block, good. I think he was just making sure it was everything was closed out there so we can move on. So Shadow Reverser with the Soul Shackle there. Let's go again. Coming in for 3, Red Shadow. Excuse me, Blue Shadow. +1 from the Art of War. Correction on that one. So 3 coming in, 3 defense. Thanks to the V of the Vanguard. Ooh, Joel's pitching the Command and Conquer to another flock. There's a second flock. And has his second Art of War in hand. Not too shabby. Look at them apples. Joel, monster set of opening hands. Double Art of War, double flock to set him up. 6 no go again. Coming at Chris. Has 1 card left in hand. Has equipment available to him if he wants it, but that skull cap only going to block for 1 if he throws it in. So Chris takes the 6. So Chris falls to 34. Joel at 39. Chris only has the 1 card in there in hand. Likely going to just Arsenal and pass on his turn. And Joel will Arsenal and draw up. So he drew 1 card there as the extra. And we know one of those cards is Art of War. Whether it's in the hand or in Arsenal, we don't know. But we know at least he's going to have it on his next turn. Plus a Quicken Token, plus a Soul Shackle. So he'll be able to come out with another spicy turn. Chris so far is keeping his life total high. Who do you guys got in this matchup? Let me know who's your hero here. Is it Joel yet again, or is it going to be Chris? Boltyn Sabers can get very scary, attacking him for 30, 40 a turn. Plus whatever they can chip away with on these little mini turns. So I was wrong. He didn't just Arsenal pass. He had an Express Lightning. Came in with the Express Lightning just for a little bit of 4 there, and no charge effects, but and it is a May ability there, so you don't have to, but it is possible to do. So now over into Joel, 35 to 34, has 4 cards in hands to work with, 1 card in Arsenal there from Joel. We knew he had the Art of War there. Soul Shackle found 2, so this is going to be a huge attack here for Joel. Red Riftbind was the banish effect for Art of War. So +1. After the draw 2 there. So now the Quicken Token is still available on his next attack. Joel deciding how he wants to sequence this. Starts with the Seeds. Follows with a Seeds. So red and yellow Seeds out so far. Looking to do some major arcane damage. Okay, so another Plunder Run as well. This one was not from Arsenal, but it will allow the next attack that hits to draw a card. So Ripvine coming in, 7 damage total plus 2 arcane, so a total of 9. 7 physical, 2 arcane, 1 energy floating. So not too bad there from Joel. It does have go again, so it's going to be 7 go again plus 2 arcane. Coming at Chris. Thanks to the arcane damage coming off of the seeds that Joel was able to play. Chris only needs Arcane Barrier 1 to block both of it, but if you look across on his side of the board, does not have the Arcane Barrier 1. So he's going to take the 2. And now is considering the 7. So his life total did fall underneath Joel's, so his skull cap is fully active for 2 there. Could potentially use that to block another attack, or even this attack here. Chris going deep in the tank. You'd have to think if he's considering keeping cards, he likely has part of his combo pieces and doesn't want to get rid of them. It doesn't. You'd have to think that if he thought he could just fire it off, he wouldn't do it. But all right, so he is going to block 7, using 2 equipment pieces, 1 card out of the hand. Thanks in part to that skull cap. So Chris, not too shabby, keeping his health high. Only took the 2 so far. It was arcane damage though, so it may turn on some other cards there for Chris. Specifically meet and greet. It may turn on cards for Joel, excuse me. Alright, so here's that Soul Shackle. Next, gonna get go again. So Nebula Blade coming in for 4. With go again. The Soul Shackle did close the combat chain, so Chris is available to block with this equipment again if he so chooses. If he realizes it. So just confirmation there that Plunder Run will not trigger on the Nebula Blade because it only hits attack action cards, or it only triggers on attack action cards. So Chris gonna opt to take the 4, falls to 28. Nebula Blade will create a rune chant. It did have go again, so Joel gets his action point back, uses his floating resource to come in with another Riftbind. So Riftbind going to be able to get plussed by the Art of War and the 3 other non-attack action cards that he cast. So a total of 7. And then 1 arcane damage on the rune chant. So Chris going to take the 1 arcane, guaranteed. And then the rest of the 7. So Chris falls to 20. Joel at 35. Joel drew a card. Arsenal and pass. So not too shabby there by Joel. Knocked his opponent down to blitz life total, half their life total in just 2 turns. Not too shabby. Had a pretty stacked opening kind of hands. Double Art of Wars, double Plunder, and double Flock. It was just about one of the best openers you could ask for. Now Chris is definitely on the back foot. Has 2 cards there in Soul. And not too many cards in his hand to work with. The previous turn he used most of them to block with. But don't count this Boltyn player out just yet. They are a combo deck. They're looking to do 30-something damage on their turn and gain a whole bunch of life with multiple Sabers attack thanks to Lumina. So you always got to keep that in mind. That Boltyn player is not out until the game is over. So watch out for that. I'm expecting Chris to at least arsenal one of the key pieces, one of the at some point in this match when he can find them. So E-Strike coming in for 7. Does have the Snapdragon Scalers available if he needs to. Will likely keep on to those. Joel blocking for 6. Incentivized to block a lot of cards out of the hand. Chane is. Thanks to Soul Shackle giving them an additional hand to work with out of their banish zone. So Joel will take 1. Falls to 34. Chris will arsenal and pass. So into Joel's turn. 3 Soul Shackles there. Hits 1. That's a Riftbind there in his banish zone that's able to hit. So Vexing Malice and Plunder Run were the other 2. Unavailable to get cast out of banish, so they will just be dead cards there. And now into Joel's decision time here, as all the cards that he could ask for to work with. Also the ebb and fold there, should he want to banish some more to keep the chain going. Now, he doesn't have the quicken tokens he relied on in the first 2 turns to make those big attacks. So this one's likely to not be as spicy, but still his opponent's at 20. Anything he can do to keep chipping away at this, he'll take. Joel reconsidering what his action is going to be. Who do you have right now in this matchup? 14 points to the positive is our Runeblade player. Shadow Puppetry out of Arsenal is his first go-to. So, Red Bounding Demigod out of hand after that. So, +1 there. If it hits, Joel will be able to look at the top card of his deck and he can banish it thanks to Shadow Puppetry. Bounding Demigod was not played out of banish, so it will only have the +1 from the Shadow. So, 4 total with a hit effect. No go again on this at the moment. Or no, excuse me, Shadow Puppetry. Gives it go again, so it does have go again. Chris will take the 4, allow the hit, falls to 16, top card. Very scary potential there, but Chris likely has his combo pieces then in hand if he's willing to just take it. Joel deciding, it looks like at the moment he's not going to banish it. He's not. He's going into the Soul Shackle, so up to 4 Soul Shackles. And likes the card in his hand or can't afford to attack with the Nebula Blade. Just would have just been for the 1. Joel will take 1 damage off the Blood Debt thanks to the Ripline. Falls to 33, so 16 to 33. Joel is technically in lethal range if Chris has the absolute money. Chris kept every card in hand, took a 4 damage hit that allowed Joel to look at the top card. All right, so here, let's see if Chris has it. Do you think Chris has it or not? My money's he's got it. I don't know. We're going to find out. So Engulfing Light for 0, that's a great start. He's able to charge. So it comes in for 3. If it hits, put it in Hero Soul. Excuse me, it's blue 1, so it's coming for 1. If it hits, it goes to the Hero Soul. Joel, I think is incentivized here to not allow Chris to get more cards into the Soul. But it would cost him actually not too much. He can throw the Grasp in front of that and prevent this. I think Joel needs to prevent this. This is actually pretty crucial. Now Chris could still get the cards into the Soul thanks to Lumina's ability. When you hit, look at the top there. His light, put it in your Soul. But Joel does have the Grasp he could throw in there for 1 to block it. I think that's what he'll do. He's considering it. Yep, that's very smart there. Do not allow Boltyn Sabers to get more in there. So Snapdragon to give it go again. Here we go. This is likely it. This is the turn. Let's see it, Chris. What you got? Okay, so Gallantry is gone. And his Courage. Sabers are free. +1. Okay, our first Luminas. Come on, Chris, you got it. There it is. Oh, he's got the double. I knew it. This is huge. Absolutely huge turn here for Chris. Joel is just with the yup. So all of his Sabers have +3. Thanks to the double Lumina plus the Gallantry. And they're free. So Chris will also be able to banish to give it go again. So 5 damage a Saber. They can attack 3 times total this game. If Joel defends with an attack action card, it's going to get +2 total. So this is a very, very deadly turn here. Chris has 3 attacks at 15 base. Excuse me, has 3 attacks at 5 base, which makes 15 per Saber. That's 30 damage. If they hit, he'll look at the top and could potentially put it into the Soul and gain a life. If it's a light card. So this is absolutely massive. This could actually just end Joel right here. So it can't necessarily end Joel completely. He could live at 3 life. plus whatever his equipment can block for. It doesn't have the grass, but does have the carrion husk to block out one of these. But Joel is likely going to fall down to a very scary under 10. So there's our first reaction there. The other saber coming in. So this is our second saber attack. Keep count there, guys. Oh boy. This is Chris. This is everything Chris could have asked for. Spent his entire game setting this up. Got the double Luminas. Had the zero cost attack with which he could then charge. Double Luminas thanks to one of them in Arsenal. So another 5 coming in. Joel trying to sit. Remember, if he blocks with an attack action, they get +2. And it's to the end of turn. So this, I mean, this theoretically could have just killed Joel out. But right now, there's the next reaction. So look at the 2. 2 light cards going in, 2 life. And the cards in soul will allow this this chain to continue. I think Chris is pretty much guaranteed to get there. So another saber coming in for 5. It's his second attack. Joel takes it. Down to 23. Look at the 2. 1 light, so gain another life. Chris goes up to 19. All right, second saber, second swing. Another 5. So Joel did not want to block, likely has attack action cards in hands, and did not want to give these sabers +1 until the end of turn. We may see him opt to block on these final saber attacks. Each saber has 1 more attack apiece. Chris gives it a go again. Joel thinking. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, so I think Chris had gone a little too quick and had missed one of the reactions to give the saber a go again. But Joel's going to allow him to walk it back because he knows what's going on. And so that's very nice of Joel. Thank you very much, Joel. Again, keep it casual, competitive. You got to remember, sometimes you just got to remember you go a little bit too quick, and you're like, oh, this is a reaction. Got to do it prior to the damage, and a lot of times you just shortcut it, throw the damage in there. So here's the third attack from the third saber, or from the first saber. Third attack, first saber. It's this last one. If we're gonna see Joel block, it'll be here. So Joel should be at it should be 13-19. Chris didn't gain any life, so here we go. Give it a go again. Excuse me, that dropped him to 13. All right, so I was actually ahead of it. So 21-13. Now the final saber attack here. If Joel's gonna block, it'll be here. It'll be on these 2. And Joel takes it. Falls to 8. Chris, another look. Looks at the top 2, another 2 light. So gains another 2 life. Chris up to 23. This is, what a massive turn. Went from 16 to 23. And Joel, I believe it was at, what was he at, 34 down to 8? 34 down to 8. What a swing. Holy smokes, everybody. Chris gained 7 life and took out 26 from his opponent. So it was a 33 life swing total in that game. Holy smokes. Chris also has a lot of cards there in soul to work with. Now, Joel took a lot of damage, so he can return the favor here, depending on what these soul shackles say, thanks to his hand. So far they're saying good. The seed so far with a ghostly visit and a rift find. So 2 hits, 2 misses. No, excuse me. 3 hits, 1 miss. Ghostly Visit can come out of Banish Zone. What am I thinking? That's the whole point of the card. And so Joel has 4 cards in hand, 4 cards in Banish, and 1 card in Arsenal he can work with the Snapdragons to give stuff go again. Also has the Ebb and Fold to work with. He's going to try to come back from an absolutely massive swing there from Chris. Now, Joel does know that the spicy business from the Boltyn players pretty much over. Boltyn kind of blew his load, and Chris now is just going to have to kind of work a normal kind of game from here on out, thanks to the fact that both of his Luminas are now gone. Chris could also be the Vanguard. He does have 1 remaining, as far as I'm aware, to maybe get some spicy turns in. But right now, it's really just going to be attacks. What you see is what you got. So Joel, knowing this, is going to start out with a Soul Reaping after Shadow Puppetry, coming in for 7 with Go Again. If it hits, Joel can look at the top card and banish. It also has Go Again, thanks to the fact that he's attacking a hero with 1 or more cards in their soul, which Boltyn has a lot of. So, and no sweat there in the Go Again. The double Go Again will only give you one action point back. Unfortunately, doesn't stack. So who do you have in this match? Do you think our Runeblade player is going to be able to come back in this, or is Boltyn going to take it here at 8 life? A life, still a lot to chunk through. Keep in mind that the Carrion Husk, though, is also been banished. So Joel is guaranteed to die here in 7 turns. And then Chris is going to go ahead and take the 7, allow the on-hit effect. Last time, Joel did not banish it. This time, he's going to consider it. So I believe the last time his banished look was the Vexing Malice, I think is what he had on top. I could be incorrect on that. It's possible that Joel had seen a Blood Debt card he didn't want to put in because he couldn't play it. But I thought the Vexing Malice was the first one out. I'd have to rewatch it and look at those that can rewind it real quick. Take a look. Let me know. But so Joel is going to banish 1 there in the Blood Debt. So that's going to be a Bounding, thanks to the Shadow Puppetry effect. And this is looking pretty spicy. 6 cards now to work with out of the banish Joel has, but that's also some spicy Blood Debt. So Seeds of Agony. And a Bounding after the Soul Shackle. So 4 total on the attack, 1 Arcane. Chris is gonna definitely take the Arcane, as no more has no more Arcane Barrier until he goes below Joel's life again, which if he does, it's likely gonna lose the game anyways. And then Chris opting not to block there. Take the 4 down to 11, using that life total that he just got back for himself to soak up some damage. Can Joel, the big question here is, can Joel get all of these cards out of Banish? I don't know if he really can, thanks in part to the fact that he only had 1 Soul Shackle to work with. So Sky's out of hands into Riftbind. So this one will get Go Again. And if it hits, make a Rune Chant. So I can at least get able to get 1 more card out of Banish. But so far, we'll take Joel as it stands. It looks like he'll take 3 potentially on the Blood Debt and fall to 5. So Chris may consider that, may keep that in mind. You got to think, though, that Joel is going to have a very spicy turn yet again on his next turn, even if these stay in his Banish Zone. Going to have a lot of options to work with. Chris, going to Soul Shield to block 6. 6 for 6. Look at them apples, not too shabby. No Rune Chant created there. All of it's blocked. Soul Shield will also go into the soul there from the Boltyn, even though he has plenty of cards in the soul to work with. Joel just trying to figure out if he can close it out here before he dies of his Blood Debt. So here's the next card there out of the Banish. It's going to be his last one this turn, so he'll take 3 on the Blood Debt. Unhallowed Rites is going to be his card. It's going to be his choice. Wants to cycle something back into the deck. Could be Seeds of Agony. So deck check here. Chris wants to know how many is in there. Lot is the answer by Chris and Joel. So they're not gonna count it out too much. But so 4 coming in. No on-hit effects here. No extra arcane damage. So what you see is what you got. Does have the Snapdragon actually, excuse me. Or had it potentially available there. But doesn't look like he will be able to do anything with that. Chris weighing his options. So blue Riftbind and red Ghostly Visits to check there from the Banish Zone there. Chris just double checking to see what may or may not be possible. Chris gonna defend for 3. Try to chump away. Only wants to take 1. Joel wants to Snapdragon. So give it a go again. Okay. All right, so the Snapdragon there allows the Riftbind to come through. So that's actually a pretty big Riftbind. I believe it's for 5 total. Because it was blue. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, it's going to be for 5. Plus 1 from the other side. That was a red Riftbind. This would be a very scary attack there. So Joel actually is going to... I was wrong. Joel's going to take 2 damage to the Blood Debt this turn. Had the Snapdragon Scalers. Those yelling at me about the Snapdragon Scalers. I forgot they're not 0. You can give 1 or more. So Joel's going to take 2 there. Fall to 6. 6 apiece from both of our players. And now Chris has at least 1 card to work with. And he's just going to arsenal that card and pass. So trying to stay alive here. So Joel is in complete tempo advantage now. And is likely going to close out the game this turn. We'll see what these Soul Shackles say. So E Strike's a miss, but Seeds and Shadows a hit. A Consuming and a Marvin Skies. So kind of a below average hit there from the Soul Shackle. That's a bit unfortunate there for Joel, who wants to like super close it out, but that may be enough pieces. Has all 4 cards to work with in his hand, plus the Ebb and Fold equipment still available. So I really do think Joel's probably going to be able to get the 6 damage he needs here this turn. But we will see. Only's going to have the 1 Soul Shackle to give go again. With the Shadow being there in the Banish Zone, he can't banish something. I guess he could. He could give that go again there. So the Seeds will be able to come out as well. So Joel will only likely take 1 damage from Blood Debt this turn if it even goes to the end of the turn. Do you think Chris makes it out here? I'm hoping that he does. It would be awesome to see, but you gotta think that Joel's probably got this game closed out right now. As long as he sequences properly and navigates through the turn. With 4 cards in hand and 3 in banish to work with, your opponent at 6 life, you're probably there. So blue Seeds of Agony, blue Shadow. There it is. Banishing another Seeds of Agony, so gives it go again. So 2 go again, plus 1 Arcane. Chris cannot block the Arcane. And it has go again. So opted for the additional cost to banish a card with Blood Debt, which was the Seeds. Give that Shadow Verser go again. Chris will take the 1 Arcane, fall to 5. Arcanite Skullcap can now block for 1, should Chris want it to. And we'll just throw 1 card from the hand in front of it for now. So blocks for 3. Now into Joel's second action here. Or second attack. Let's see what he wants to do. Still has a Soul Shackle available. There's another Seeds in the Rift. You got to think he's going to lead Seeds something. Maybe he's got a Plunder Run again. It would be his last one. I believe he's still got one left. All right, so yellow Seeds. If anything, Joel can chip away with some of this arcane damage. Soul Shackle, this gives it go again. So allow him to get that Ghostly Visit out. Ooh, pitches of blue seeds. Not leaning on all of the arcane. Coming in with the Nebula Blade for 4 with go again. No siege trigger here. A little bit interesting of a sequence there. I would think that maybe Joel would keep his seeds and cast, but so Chris gonna block for 4. 1 card out of the hand and the equipment. Back over to Joel. Joel may have overthought himself here on this one. Maybe not. We'll see. He is the pilot here, and we're just all along for the ride. Chris still with 2 cards in hand, 1 in arsenal. So here's the Ghostly Visit. So 4 physical, 1 seeds. It's likely, though, that this is telling that Joel did not have any zero-cost attacks in his hand, which is why he pitched the blue seeds for that Nebula Blade swing, and couldn't just continue the chain going with the cards he had in his hand. It's rough to see him leave 2 there in the hand. You would think that he could just have closed the game out here, but right now, Chris could actually just... Chris is going to have a chance to come back in. So 4+1 arcane means this is a lethal attack. Chris is going to take the arcane, and he will have to block with at least 1 card out of hand. Ooh, it's a soul shield, though, which means it's going to take all the cards out of Chris's hands. That's probably the worst kind of block he could have made there, I would think. It's going to leave him with no cards in hand and 1 in arsenal, and allow Joel to go back in there, only taking 1 blood debt. I would imagine, I don't know what that card is, but I would imagine it's one that couldn't block. It looked like that might have been a snag, which can't block. So that way, Chris may have gotten bamboozled there by his deck and couldn't keep a card in hand, and then come in with some more pressure on Joel. So 6 on the Soul Shackle now, back into Joel. All of his Vexing Malice is gone. 6 only gets 1, only gets the Shadow. Did Chris maybe sneak out of this? Maybe, we'll see. Joel still has 5 cards hidden to work with, +1 that we know of in the Banish Zone, and the Ebb and Fold. There's a lot of potential here again for Joel. Remember, he left 2 cards in his hands in the last turn. So he may have be flat on some resources needed, but you have to think. So Shadow Verser, Banishing Rift, gives it go again. So 2 go again. Chris is likely going to need to use all the cards out of his hand this turn. So Chris may just be relying on Blood Debt alone to finish this game off. I don't think that's a winning strategy, but it might be his only chance. Chris, 1 card out of hand so far. Keep track of that. That's the key there. Has no more equipment left to block with. 3 cards in hand. 1 card in arsenal. Joel 6 Soul Shackle so far. Not super worried about decking out even on the next turn. This has been very explosive from both players already, so we're still pretty quick through the game deck-wise for a Classic Constructed event. So Ghostly Visit at Arsenal after Soul Shackle. So 4 go again. Sink below there by Chris. To block 4. Opting to cycle. So sinking 1 card, drawing 1. Not too shabby now from Chris. So Joel needs another effect here. Makes a rune chant. Going to try the effect he needs is the arcane. And is going to try to get there. Ooh, E-Strike for 7. It's going to pop the rune chant. +1. So Joel right now is going to take 2 damage from the blood debt. Chris falls to 3 and blocks for 7. Thanks to the fact that Sink Below and a card from hand that can block for 3. So Chris surviving slowly but surely. He's trying to. Joel's going to have the option to make a rune chant a turn and pop it. So you'd have to think Chris is almost guaranteed dead in 3, but 7 Soul Shackles there to work with here from Joel. You saw him draw up at the end of his turn. Chris drew up on his turn after a pass. Okay, so Joel, so far, not too good on these Soul Shackles. They were a lot better earlier. Still found 2, though, so it's 4 cards in hands and 2 cards to work with. Chris looks like he's trying to just deck this out potentially here. Didn't quite catch how many. It's either 7 or 8. It's going to be 7. So Joel is guaranteed to use all the cards out of his deck next turn. Chris just needs to survive 2 turns. And he will likely be the victor here. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough 2 turns to survive. Thanks in part to the fact that Joel can make a rune chant and has a Seeds there in Banish Zone. And his Banish Zone there to get at least 2 arcane damage. And we knew that one of the cards that he put on the bottom is a blue Seeds, which I don't believe is that Seeds in his Banish Zone. I don't believe that's cycled back around just yet. It may have. That may be the card. Those that are have a little bit better memory might be able to tell you that have been counting the bottom off the deck. But there's a good chance there that Joel has another arcane damage to work with on his next turn. So here we go. Seeds coming out. Double Seeds there. 2 there. So Joel just needs to make a rune chant here and attack, and he wins. Yep. Makes the rune chant. Just need an attack here, Joel. Finish this out. Well, it's gonna Soul Shackle. All right, go through the motions. Come on, Joel. Yeah, you got it. He's considering. Wants to take it slow. Wants to come with the Nebula Blade, I guess. This is gonna give Joel or Chris a chance to survive by paying to block some of the other rune chants if he takes his health down low enough to put on that skull cap again. But here we go. All right, Joel, come on, you can do it. There we go. Ripbind coming in. 4+3 arcane, that'll do it there. Chris, unless he's got a sigil, can't block it. Joel just had to sequence it through, had to see it, and that would do it here in round number 2 as our players figure it out. Chris falls to 0. Can't block the 3 arcane. So that will do it there. Joel takes it yet again. Oh, I'm back in here. So I shouldn't speak too soon here. Technically, Chris can pay to block through the arcane barrier as each of these sources come in. So once the rune chant hits, Chris will fall to 2 life, and his arcane barrier 3 would active. But he would need to pay a total of 6 to block the 2. So 2 to 3. Okay, we gotta stop this. Hold on a second. Okay, they figured that out. Joel realized it has to pitch 3 to block 1. All right, we'll go into the game and we'll sort it out for. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, just a little bit of clarification on the rules there on the seeds. Remember, errata bulletin number 2 for those that kind of want a glimpse on what happened there. So Chris has only Arcane Barrier 3 here, and since their individual sources of damage would need to pay 3 twice. So he took 2 Arcane here and blocked 1. And so we're not quite... I did close it out there almost a little bit myself, but we're not quite done yet. So Chris still is surviving here, so has a card in hand. And Joel just needs to come in with 2 more attacks, and that will do it, most likely. Unless Chris has a Fate Foreseen in Arsenal, which is possible. So Joel coming in with 4 on the Ghostly Visit. So we're not out of this, and Chris is not out of the game yet, actually. Turns out. Yep, there it is. So can only block for 3, did not have the defense reaction. And the Ghostly Visit for 4 will trample over the 1 damage needed. And so we got there. Yeah, sorry about that there at the end, guys. Just a good thing to just keep your eyes on the rule changes and the errata bulletins. They help out a lot of times in common scenarios. LSS likes to try to update stuff as people figure it out and play them. But that'll do it here for round number 2. We'll catch you guys there in round number 3. Remember, after round number 3, we have prizes to give away, so don't disappear too early after round number 3. But that'll close it out here, round number 2, and we'll catch you guys in the next round. Hey everyone, and welcome to Uncharted Realms weekly event, round number 3. I'm Brent, alongside streamer to be named, sitting in the awesome production booth, excited to bring you guys round 3 coverage of Out of the Box Gaming's Armory Classic Constructed event. Just a reminder, Out of the Box Gaming is local to Thomasville, North Carolina. They have in-store play, I think sealed Saturdays nowadays, and they have a nice marketplace for trading card singles. So if you're looking for that last little piece you need for your deck, or if you want to just mix it up after your Road to Nationals loss, or win, you know, whatever, I'll give you one. Go ahead and check out Out of the Box Gaming in person or at outoftheboxgaming.com. We had a 10-man event for you guys today in round 3 of 4. We got Joel yet again gracing our presence, gracing your screen there on the bottom on Chane against Bartosh. For those that follow week by week, he should be a very common name that you're familiar with. Bartosh is going to rock the Dorinthea today. So not a bad event so far for those that are following through live or watching it back. It's been pretty intense. A little chain on chain action in the first round. A little bit of chain on Boltyn. Combo Boltyn. Almost got there. But Runeblade, though, got there at the end of the day with no sweat. It was a little bit of sweat. Let's be real. They were both players got down very low. It was like 3 life to 1 life, I think, at the end there, before Joel was able to trample just enough over to get it in the last round. And he's going to try it again. He's going to try to take Warrior number 2 down and continue his undefeated streak through our tournament here. Bartosh also going to try to remain undefeated. Likes that Dawnblade. Going to try to get a whole bunch of counters on there. Rocking the skull cap, the bracers, the chest piece, and the refraction boulders. Big thing there, though. Only Arcane Barrier on the skull cap. Doesn't really respect the seeds. I can't quite blame him. Especially because Joel has a very aggro build. Joel, though, the classic carrion, ebb and fold, grasp and snap, not snack. They look like a snack, but they are snap dragon scalers. So Bartosh hit and run into Dawnblade. It's going to have go again. No other pump effects because it's not a he has not attacked with the weapon this turn already. So just go again there. To start us off, Bartosh's strategy here is just to try to build up some counters. Joel's strategy is to build up some counters, but in a different way. Bartosh wants them on the Dawnblade. Joel wants them on them Soul Shackles to pull cards right off the deck. Bartosh is going to be incentivized to block with a whole bunch of cards from hand. Force Joel to respect the potential Dawnblade counters to go again. And deck Joel out, most likely. I've seen a lot of Warriors play this more defensively. and deck out their the opponent Chane player. So Bartosz there gives it +4. Or excuse me. Yep, so +3, excuse me. So Alpha Blood. And the next one gets +1 on the chain link. So it'll be 6 over 3, so 3 damage over. Joel takes down to 37. Bartosz gets the first blood of the match. A little bit of an explanation there for Out of the Blood. Talk about the reprise trigger there. His next attack gains +1. Thanks to the fact that the Vexing Malice came out of hand. So 1 resource floating. Dawnblade coming back through. Forward this time coming in. If it hits, it gets a counter. Bartosz looks a little aggressive with that card from hand. I'm not a body language expert, but for those of you out there that might be, I'd have to say he's looking like he wants to throw a Iron Song down in there. Let's see what it is. Joel blocks for 4. Bartosz lets it go. So does not have an Iron Song response there that he wants to fire off. So he'll just Arsenal and move on to his turn. Joel. Ooh, that's the wrong way there. Bartosz 40 to 37. Joel will draw up to 4 cards, and Bartosz will also draw up to 4 cards. Has 1 there in Arsenal to work with. See, those that follow some more of the competitive hubs would have noticed there that Bartosz correctly identified that he had hit a phone and adjusted life totals and did not want to screw his buddy out of a game here. I don't know if they're actually buddies; they're just players here. But all of our players like to be competitive, but like to be above board competitive. So no crazy shady top 4 business here. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, you can message me later and I will send you the links. For those that are concerned, but for those that do know what I'm talking about, that was a wild time on the competitive hub for the first week of Road to National events. So to start off here, we had a Seeds, I believe, into a Nebula Blade. Out of Joel's hand, it's Joel's turn 1. I believe this should only be for 1. Oh no, he's played a non-attack action card. Excuse me. This is not. It doesn't matter. That's not out of banish. Excuse me, as I getting yelled at over here, pointed at. So that is actually going to be 4 there from the Nebula Blade. Bartosz blocking 4. We have Flock showing the Plunder Run. So 3 there on the Flock plus the 1 Arcane, and we'll create a Quicken token. Joel opting for the more aggressive Runeblade strategy here, and I absolutely love it. I think it's awesome. It makes for some very exciting games. And Bartosz going to take all 4 damage there. And he revealed the red Plunder Run. So we know exactly where that one's going. That's going right into the arsenal. That's going to give Joel's next attack +3, and any attack that hits on the turn, the first one that does, draw a card. So that's a very nice arsenal there for Joel. But Bartosz does have a full information of it. All right, so Supremacy coming out first. This gives a +2. If it hits, draw a card on the weapon. All right, so Steelblade Supremacy, just a talk through, an explanation there by Bartosz. And then a Dawnblade so far coming in for 5. 1 energy floating, 2 cards in hand, and 1 in the arsenal. I'd have to think that this is definitely repping more than 5. Joel, though, his hands to me kind of thinks that he's just going to take it. Has Plunder Run in arsenal. A little bit of clarification there from Joel. It's anytime the weapon hits, it'll draw a card there, I believe, from Steelblade. Yep. So just a little clarification there on the Steelblade Supremacy. Very awesome Dorinthea specialization card there. Definitely keeps things spicy with the Dawnblade. Excellent, excellent card there. And you would have to think they're pretty fairly balanced in the card. So has a huge upside potential, but also could potentially lose all of its counters and only comes in for 3. So it's strong, but it's manageable. So Joel now decided what he wants to do. Does he want to block this? His hands, knowing that there's a plunder run in Arsenal and the Quicken token, really tells me that he does not want to block anything here. Or potentially just wants to throw equipment in front of it. But no, actually, I stand completely corrected. Joel is going to super overblock. Likely just go to his turn, make a Soul Shackle, and move on. Overblocks by 10. Does not want this Dawnblade to come in at all again. That's going to be hard for Bartosz to overblock there. But Joel is opting to put a counter onto this Grasp. So stroke of foresight there from Bartosz. So going to look at the top. And here he gets to draw a card and cycle one out. So up to 8. Bartosz needs to give this, needs to find a way to get this weapon to hit if he wants to use his boots to give it go again. And or a glint to be able to come back in. Likely he wants to get this, because Joel only has one more card in hand, he likely wants to be able to give this just to hit and use the bolters there. Refraction bolters. Bartosz just doing the math. Pitches a steel blade to a sinking. All right. So a +1. And he gets to look for a card. It's going to be an Iron Song response. So he has to play it for this chain link. Oh, actually, it's likely going to be... Oh, actually, I don't know if this is an Iron Song or a glint. We're going to find out. Iron Song response. To plus it up. So we know that this Dawnblade's not coming in again. So Bartosz using a lot of resources here. He does not have extra resources available to swing again with this Dawnblade. So he will not be popping his bolters there. Actually, he does get to draw a card, so he might. He can stack his triggers here. Yep, so here we go. So excuse me, I stand corrected. He draws. I think he pops his refraction bolters here. One card in hand there for Joel. This weapon is going to come in for another 5. He's considering breaking the bolters. If that's a 2... if that's a yellow pitch, he can give the Dawnblade another +1 thanks to the gauntlet, so come in for 6. One card in hand there for Joel. Bartosz may get the Carrion Husk here. So here we go. Bolter's gone. So just a clarification on the triggers here there for Joel. So for those wandering refraction bolters there, it's when you hit, you may destroy it in resolution of the ability, the on-hit effect, to give it go again. So he's allowed to look at the card and then decide whether he wants to hit it or not. You put the refraction bolters on the stack first, and then the Dawnblade hit. So pitches Dawnblade coming in, only for 5, because that was, looks like he was not able to pump it there with his bracers. So only for 5. If it hits, draw a card. Yep, did not break the chain with the bolters. Just a little clarification there. So weapons, you can attack, you can activate the abilities of any card on the combat chain. Yep, Bartosz did get the Carrion Husk. That's pretty big. That's huge. So weapons, they've actually updated. So they used to create an effect that went to the chain. Now they do move to the chain. Yeah, but you can activate the ability of any card still on the chain to then attack with it again without closing the combat chain. So a little bit of update there. So if you go and look at a lot of old rulings, you'll see a lot of people talking about it creating an effect, but that has been clarified through interviews and FAQs with James White and team there from LSS. So a little bit of update for everybody, because I know I was rocking along the created a effect on the chain. and not actually moving to the chain, but it's still it's effectively the same thing because you can still activate it on the chain and it just moves over. So Sharpen Steel now, +3 on his next attack. Here comes the Dawnblade. Does not have a counter there. Tried very hard, but did get the Carrion Husk there from Joel on the last one. So 6 right now. No blocks there. Bartosz considering reactions. Has the glint to give it go again. Look at this. Bartosz doing great. So just go again. No other cards from hand. And Joel gonna go ahead and take it. So Joel really likes his hands. Wants to come in there with the Quicken Token and a Soul Shackle on his turn. So 36 to 28. Hit and run is gonna give the Dawnblade another +3 because it's a red one. And the energy there, here it comes in. Boom! Dawnblade coming in. So 7 total. It has hit. It will get a counter. Sorry about that. Might have heard a little rapper there. Gotta stay hydrated, guys. Remember that. Hydration is the key. Gotta keep your mind active. Avoid tournament fatigue. That is also another spicy top 4 cheating videos that I could link you to with there for those in the know following the competitive hub. But so far it's just straight above board. Bartosz 36, Joel 21 got a first counter there on his Dawnblade. Joel opting to take a lot of damage that turn to then be able to use his Quicken Token and I believe a Rune Chant. So this is going to be very spicy. Seeds is going to be the first pitch. Here's an Art of War. All right, let's see it, Joel. Shoot your shot. So we see that other Art of War, his second one, is in the banish zone already thanks to the Soul Shackle, and that's really rough. But I think Joel can still make this work. He's got a 15 life deficit to make up here. His Carrion Husk is also in the banish zone, so keep that in mind. So here we go. Banish +1. Draw 2. Joel cycle those cards out. So down to 3 in hand. Considering what he wants to do. Soul Reaping, allow him to banish another one. Get another resource, so up to 3. And it has go again thanks to the Quicken Token. Look at that. 6, 7 plus the Art of War. Or thanks to the Art of War. And then plus a Rune Chant. So 8 total coming at Bartosz. So Joel just clarifying the Rune Chant there. So Bartosz is going to take the 1. Has no Arcane Barrier to work with here. So guaranteed going to take the 1 there from the Rune Chant. Riftbind and Hollowed Rites in the banish zone there for Joel. So you know he's going to come out with a nice spicy turn. Riftbind right now, not super pumped up. But Joel still has cards in hands to work with. Bartosz considering. Opts to take the Rune Chant. We knew that was happening. Give himself some more time to think. What would you do in this situation? Who's your hero here? Is it going to be Dorinthea or is it Chane again? Are we going to watch Joel take every match today? We'll find out. Bartosz took the 7. Falls to 28. 28 to 21. Joel's going to try to equal out the life total here. Bartosz opting to use the life total as a resource. There's that red plunder run we knew about. Another +3 to the next attack. Soul Shackle giving this attack go again. Likely going to see a Riftbind here. I would imagine. No, reaching for the Unhallowed. Joel coming in with the Unhallowed Rites. So 8 total. Gets to cycle one of his seeds. Yep, puts the red seeds on the bottom. So Unhallowed Rites coming in for 8. Does have go again thanks to the Soul Shackle. So 8 go again if it hits. He gets to draw a card. thanks to Plunder Run. Likely so Joel likely coming in here with the Unhallowed Rites to try to draw a card to get another non-attack action there to pump up this Riftbind a little bit higher. So not a bad sequence. All things considered, probably better. He's piloting this very excellently today with a lovely aggro strategy. Gotta love this from the Chane. He's not just blocking everything from the hand. We did see that at one point here in the game, but for the most part, he is trying to make these games quick. He's got somewhere to be today, boys. And I can't blame him. These are absolutely just... I love the deck construction there from that. The flock, which you don't normally see, and you making excellent use of these quicken tokens. Very aggro look. The Plunder Runs are normal, but these flocks are doing work. Just a little clarification on the Hallowed Rites. Reading out effects. Bartosz keeping the cards in hand, still has 4. He's used 8 of his life total there so far. On that last attack, fall down to 20. Joel's going to make a Rune Chant with the floating resources. And likely going to see a Riftbind now. Yep, Riftbind coming in. So Plunder Run is the only plus there for the Riftbind. But it'll also, well, excuse me, it'll have Art of War plus. So 5 total plus 1 Arcane. 6 total coming in. Bartosz guaranteed to take the Rune Chant. Well, I guess technically his Skull Cap is active. He could pay the 3. I don't see that being likely. A little bit of a hiccup there. A little bit of hiccup for me, you know. Sometimes it's not even technology that does it. Sometimes your body does it. Bartosz considering what he wants to do in the tank. Skullcap active, blocks 2 there. Wants to take 3. 4 cards still on hand there for Bartosz. This is going to be a very spicy turn on the way back. Thanks to that +1 counter from the Dawnblade, I think. Not to pull a full Jar Jar on you guys here, but me thinks this is going to be scary. Anyways, I'm here all week, folks. Don't sue me. So Joel, gonna go ahead and give it go again. Bartosz down to 16 to 21. Comes in with the remaining resources. Nebula Blade for 4. Just trying to pull pieces out of Bartosz's hand. Bartosz, I don't think he's gonna block here. He's gonna consider it though. He's gonna take a look. Skull Cap not available to block on this one. Still on the Chane. He's considering it. He actually might block here. He may take all that damage and then throw the last little bit on. I would think though that Bartosz probably doesn't want to here, but he will. Stroke. And we gotta fix this real quick. Because the Skull Cap is not active. And they caught it. There we go. So they caught it before we got in there. And Bartosz will block with the bracers instead. There we go. So 4 block, 4 tech. No Rune Chant created from Nebula there. Joel will take 1 from the Nebula, or from the Carrion Husk, down to 20. 16 to 20 going into Bartosz's turn. 3 cards in hand. No cards in Arsenal to work with. But he does crucially have a counter on that Dawnblade. So these are 4 damage attacks coming across. Joel has to work to get his 4 damage attack, but Bartosz did his work early and now gets to reap the rewards. I would say we're in the mid game here, folks, all the way down into the Blitz life total. It's going to get super spicy after this. It's been excellent so far. And remember, don't go anywhere after this rounds, or don't go too far. The prize giveaway does happen in between the 3rd and 4th round. So stay tuned for that. For those that are still aware of what a dial is, don't touch those dials. Don't turn them. So Spoils of War in a Dawnblade. So +2 on the 4, so 6 go again. Spoils of War, excellent starter piece there for Dorinthea, or for Warrior in general. Allows you to get go again on that attack and keep on swinging. This Dawnblade, though, has to hit if it wants to come in again. So Joel could be incentivized to block it and prevent that effect. Because Dawnblade is a once per turn effect, but Dorinthea allows it to attack an additional time if it hits. So no blocks, no reactions. Joel falls to 14. Dawnblade available to come in again. There's one resource there floating. Let's see if Bartosz wants to pay to even plus it up by 1. Will just come straight in. Likes the card he has in hand. Coming in for 4. It's either an Iron Song response to the last one, or it is a card he wants to just arsenal and move on with. I'm leaning towards the arsenal boat because I think he considered pumping up the bracer with the bracers, but we'll see if that if that's truly the case. Bartosz can kind of is playing his cards close to his chest, so to speak. Maybe not super indicating there. So Joel has a decision to make here. Does he want to give this, allow this Dawnblade to get another counter? No blocks there. Takes the 4, falls to 10, and this Dawnblade gets a second counter. That's going to be coming in for 5. That's super scary, but Joel likes his hand. He likes his cards. Joel could have blocked thrown one from the hands and the grasp if he thought that was not an attack reaction that Bartosz could cast. All right, so Bounding Demigon's the only hit here on the Soul Shackles. Joel, gonna see what he can do. 4 cards in hand, 1 card in arsenal. Only 1 card in banish, though. But it's 10 to 16, so this is still very reachable here by a Runeblade player. The second he starts pulling enough cards out of the hand, he effectively closes out the game. We saw that in round 1. We also saw it in round 2. We'll see if Joel can do it again in here in round 3. So Eben the start. Banishes a Riftbind, draws a card. Awesome. Good stuff there. Great start. 2 resources floating now for Joel. Still 3 cards in hand, thanks to the 1 pitch. And the card in arsenal to work with. Now 2 cards in banish. So he's increased his resources available for him this turn. Howl from Beyond to start. Another +3. +3 to his next attack. A lot of pumps going on in this game. We like it. Howl from Beyond's, we didn't see him used too much in the last round. Joel didn't need them. So Soul Shackle gives the next attack, go again. Now Joel opting how he wants to sequence this. Bounding could be a good option here. Add a banish. Looks like he's considering it. Yep. Bounding. There we go. Now I would imagine Joel has more non-attack action cards in hand he can pump that Riftbind with. So just 7 straight. +3 from the Howl. 3 from his base power. +1 because it came out of banish. Not a bad start to it. Bartosz has no blocks there. Skullcap now back active. So I was going to say not able to block with the Skullcap, but now he is if he wants to. Falls to 9, 10 to 9. Great start here from Joel. Needs to get cards out of the hand here from Bartosz if he wants to lock this out. That Dorinthea is going to be super scary with a 5 damage Dawnblade. So Joel is going to need to just load on the damage here. See if he can't make this happen. But now he's out of cards out of his hand. Seeds coming in. 4, 1 Arcane, 1 card in Arsenal. So 5 total. Bartosz here does not need to block this to live. Could take all of this if he wants. So another 4. Joel doesn't have the resources available if that's a Razors there in Arsenal. That could be kind of scary. Bartosz is going to block 1 with a Skullcap. Chip away at the life. So 3 damage comes over. So 5 to 10. Bartosz keeps a full grip +1 in the arsenal. He loves his hand. This is going to be a little bit scary for our Chane player, but don't count him out against another hero. This would be almost certain death, even if just on tempo. But for Runeblade, you got to remember that they get those cards into the banish zone they can play. So even if they lose their whole hand, it's not exactly the end of the world. So Joel is likely going to be incentivized here to get rid of these counters on the Dawnblade. So breaks the chest piece. Tax cost 0. Spoils of War means it has to go again. So this Dawnblade is going to come in for free for 5. Excuse me, plus 2 off the spoil, so it's 7 total. 2 cards in hand, 1 in arsenal. This is pretty scary here for Joel. He's got a hard think here, ladies and gentlemen. What would you block from hand with this trigger reprise? How much actually is the question? Because you know you're blocking. You gotta. Well, so I don't know. I think you respect the Alpha Blood personally, which is a plus 3 there, right? But if you're gonna go from hand, how many cards from hand do you throw in here? He has 1 that he can throw in there from the grasp, so he could theoretically represent 7 block with 2 cards from hand and the grasp. It's really gonna be, what does Joel put Bartosz on? No blocks there. Yep, there's the Alpha Blood. I thought you had to respect it. So 10 total. And that's it. That'll do it. Joel doesn't have a defense reaction. Took a chance there. Can't quite blame him for taking the chance. You got to take the chance at some point. But Joel just couldn't quite close it out. And Bartosz takes the win, knocks down our streaking Chane player there. So that will do it here for round number 3. Remember, guys, prize giveaway coming at you shortly. Streamer to be named will be leading that charge. So stay tuned, but that'll do it here for round number 3. We'll catch you guys at the prize giveaway.
That was weird. All right, sorry about that, guys. I am back now. Hopefully you can hear me. About to do the prize randomization. I'll give everybody a minute to pop over. Alrighty. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it then. For our list today, we have 9 people on it. I'm gonna go and roll our virtual dice to see how many times we're gonna randomize the list. Okay, it's gonna be 9 times. Go ahead and throw this timestamp into the YouTube chat. Alrighty, and good luck, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and yep. One more time, 9. Alright, those timestamp in. These are going to be our winners in order. So I'll be contacting you on Discord. And you'll get to pick from the prizes in order. So congratulations.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Uncharted Realms' weekly event. I'm Brent, alongside streamer to be named, sitting in the production booth, and we're excited to wrap up this event in round number 4 here. We got 2 familiar faces to go here. Chris and Bartosz. Chris was in there in round number 2. Bartosz was just in there in round number 3 on your screen. So if you've been following along, you're going to recognize those webcam faces there. Not necessarily faces, but webcam looks. Just a reminder there, guys, that this event is sponsored by Out of the Box Gaming. Out of the Box Gaming is local to Thomasville, North Carolina, and they have in-store play and, more relevant to all of us, a marketplace for trading card singles. So if you need to update your deck, or if you're looking to put a new build together, that dash is starting to creep through into those Road to National events. If you're looking to put that dash together, check out Out of the Box Gaming in person to pick up a card, or at outoftheboxgaming.com. So we had a 10-player event today, and we're wrapping it up right here, like I said earlier, with a Dorinthea v. Boltyn look. And we just had a turn 1 here, so we're coming in a little bit in the middle there on turn 2. All right, so there we go. Sorry about that, gents. A little bit of a overlap on the sound. I think we had a little bit of audio carryover, thanks to some open browsers that were forgotten about. But other than that, you know what? We still get there. We like to keep a little bit fun. So we're coming back into the game. Bartosz's turn. So that was Chris's turn 1. Now back into Bartosz. He's going to lead it out with the Warrior's Valor to give his next weapon +3 and go again. And then come in with the Dawn Blade. If you see, he also put a Warrior's Valor there in the pitch zone. So he'll have that for later if it goes late. Chris, as we saw in round number 2, is trying to set up the Lumina's Ascension combination to come in and just swack away with these sabers for 5 a swing, and try to get his goal is to try to get double Lumina's Ascension and get 3 saber attacks total. Which, when you add in the fact that they were 5 apiece by 3, you're looking at 15 damage a saber, so that's 30 plus another attack that turns if he could charge and enable all of the effects. So keep that in mind. Keep an eye out for that. Chris is going to come in with some chippy attacks, and then eventually he's just going to go ham and blow his load. So we'll see if Bartosz can close the game out prior to, or hold off against the rushing tide of saber attacks. He can hold the line, hold fast. We're going to find out. We're going to see. But right now we have Bartosz still coming in. First hit went through. Chris falls to 34. Second hit now. Another 4. Coming across. Chris. No defenses. Oh, no, excuse me. He's just looking for resources remaining. I thought he was going to reactions. My bad there. Throws the skull cap. Throws the chess piece. So far that's 4. Thanks to the fact that he's at less life. Bartosz, stroke of foresight. He's trying to get this hit. He wants his counter. So another couple of damage there. It's going to go over. No defense reactions there from Chris. So he's going to take the 3. Fall to 31. Counter on the Dawn Blade. Look at that from Bartosz. Not too shabby for those that watch week by week. Bartosz is going to be a very familiar name for yourselves. And he does some excellent Dorinthea gameplay. So we're seeing it here. Bartosz with, once again, first blood. Chris is down 9 points of life now, going back into his turn. So we got an Express Lightning with a charge. So 4 coming in. Big thing here, though, is Boltyn's ability is not going to be super relevant. Neither of the sabers. Dorinthea does not play a lot of attack action cards, most likely. So the +1 ability there from Boltyn and the sabers is not really gonna come into effect here. All right, so no blocks there from Bartosz. Chris has reaction. Give another +3. No reactions there from Bartosz. So we'll see what Chris wants to do. So right now it's a total of 7. Chris considering. He could attack, reaction, give it go again, thanks to the pump. Has cards in hand to work with if he wants to do so. I would imagine. Now, so Boltyn, though, to the reason why he might be considering it is that Boltyn needs a lot of cards in his soul when he goes off. And he's going to do it. He's going to give it go again. Has another attack he wants to do. So that pump effect from Courageous Steel Hand is going to allow that to happen. So Bartosz falls to 33. 33-31, still has the health total advantage. Another Express Lightning coming in. Opting not to charge this one, Chris is. One card in hand. So no blocks, no reactions. 3 damage. Dead there or 3 damage there from Bartosz. Yellow Express Lightning, so it was only 3. With no option to charge there. So Chris likes that card. It might be Illumina's. He may have already found piece number 1, which would be kind of scary, to say the least. So we may see Chris go off pretty early here. Depending on what that arsenal card is. So Bartosz coming in. Hit and run. Sharpen Steel. So 7 total, thanks to the counter. 3 on the Domblade, plus the 1 from the counter, plus the 3 from the Sharpen Steel. It has go again, so 7 go again. Coming in at Chris. Nice average damage a turn there from Bartosz. That is for sure, or at least repping average damage. You'd think this this hits here for 7. Then gets to attack again with the pump from the bracers if it hits. And so has another look for a total of 5. Ooh, Iron Song Response to give a +3. So Chris repped 7 block, 2 cards out of the hand. Ooh, and has a Soul Shield in response. So Chris is going to be able to block enough. And Soul Shield goes to the Soul. But his Dauntless now get a counter. I don't think that those are long for the world. I think he does have a Lumina's Ascension there in his arsenal. But that would be it for Chris's turn after Bartosz passes back to him. And Bartosz gets to fire off yet again. His Tunic's now at 3 counters. And he's got 4 cards to work with. But his Dawnblade did lose its counter in the last turn. Chris prevented the Dawnblade from hitting. And if the Dawnblade doesn't hit, it loses the counters. So Chris doing a great job so far keeping his life total high. And attempting to set up. Didn't need those 4 cards. And used them wisely. He actually got 1 card in the soul, so you could even say he successfully succeeded in setting up. The Warrior's Valor in a Dauntless. In a Dawnblade. Total of 7. Defense reactions cost an additional 1. That would have been pretty good on the last turn. With that Soul Shield. May not be relevant this turn. I believe Chris... Yeah, Chris does play Sink Below. We saw that in round number 2. So if it hits go again, no cards or no resources floating here from Bartosz, but does have the card in hand available. Does have the Tunic mana potentially available as well. Can come in. If you notice, his equipment's still pretty healthy. Chris has used his equipment so far pretty effectively to block himself. It's been pretty well done. Chris considering whether he wants to, how much he wants to block here. Who do you have in this Warrior v Warrior matchup? I think my money's going to go right now in the Bartosz camp. I think I've seen too much Dawnblade that has ruined me. I think it's just super strong. But to be honest, I am a huge fan of the Lumina combination there that Boltyn can put together, and it is super spicy. But I give it a downside because Dawnblade Dorinthea is just a little bit more consistent turn after turn, where combo Boltyn, Lumina's Ascension Boltyn, just wants to blow its load and hopefully try to end the game there. Otherwise, their attacks are going to be below average on the rest of their turns. So here we go. Bartosz coming in yet again. Defense reaction is still going to be +1. So Chris will need to pay 2 for this. So Bartosz will take a damage because it defends, the Steel Blade Shunt defends a weapon. This will prevent the Dawnblade from getting a counter. Even though it was pumped up, it was only coming in for 4. Steel Blade Shunt for 6. We go back into Chris's turn. 2 cards in hand. 24 to 29. That's a nice, good 2 cards to have. Chris, Command and Conquer coming in. So for 6. All right, so there's nothing in the arsenal there from Bartosz, so he can be incentivized just to take this damage if he wants. Chris still looking for the rest of his pieces. So far hasn't drawn them. He's waiting. I would bet money that that's a Lumina's Ascension there in the arsenal zone. Bartosz going to throw his own Command and Conquer in there, which I have to say I don't necessarily agree with. That Command and Conquer is probably just absolutely money in either getting cards out of Chris's hands or killing that Lumina's Ascension. If you think it's Lumina's Ascension in the arsenal zone there from Chris, now Bartosz may have a second Command and Conquer in his hand that he wants to operate on, or he likes his attack better, but you have to think that I'd be really focused on just blowing up that combo. If you blow up the combo, you just are almost guaranteed to win. Now, this is classic constructed, so Chris would have 2 other additional copies if a Lumina's Ascension there in Arsenal gets blown up. So it wouldn't be the end of the world there, but it would definitely slow it down. So Bartosz considering now what he wants to do. I am really surprised he opted to get rid of that Command and Conquer, even if he just saved it for later. You know you're going to get cards out of the hands. Maybe that's what he was thinking. Maybe he was like, hey, I know that this is going to get cards out of hand and I want to do damage instead. Wants to race, which I can't blame him there. The race is a pretty smart strategy. We saw Joel on Runeblade today play against Chris, and he raced him down and was able to chunk through him and all of the extra life that Chris gained. So Bartosz coming in with the straight Dawnblade, 2 resources floating, just for 3. Considerations here from Chris. It'll be very telling how much damage Chris ends up taking a turn. If he takes all the damage, you know he's got that combo in hand. If he doesn't take the damage, you know he's still looking for it. The fact that he's even thinking about blocking would tell me that he probably does not have it. The real question is, how many turns is Chris going to spend trying to find this combination? No blocked. Oh, we might be in there, boys. This may be the turn. This may be Chris going at it. Yep, Bartosz just trying to race down the damage. I think a Command and Conquer here would have been a little bit better. So it's 6 total both ways, but the threat of blowing up the arsenal would have been, I think, just absolutely money there. So here we go. Bolter's gone. Dawnblade, just go again. So double resources. Oh, he did have the second Command and Conquer, and he used the 2-deck mana and the resources floating. Oh my gosh. Oh, nice job there, Bartosz. What an excellent sequence. He did have the double Command and Conquer. I got a little bit excited there because that was just that was wild. You know, no damage happened and the life total was still super high. But to be honest, that was a wild hand there for me. Now Chris has a perfect 2-card combination himself, coming back in for 7 with an E-Strike, dumping the last card out of his hand. But man, Bartosz, I thought, did that wonderfully. Sequenced that very well, and you know, because Chris blocks so much, I think we're guaranteed that that's a Lumina's Ascension. So that's a little bit concerning if I was Bartosz, knowing that card is still there in Arsenal. 7 coming at him. You have to think if Chris finds the other Luminas and can double Luminas, you're guaranteed 30 damage. Plus whatever that attack was to enable the charge. So usually it's a express lightning or an engulfing light. So it might be, you know, it could range from anywhere from 1 to 0 or 1 to 4. Oh, there's the third Command and Conquer there from Bartosz. Going to get another 2 cards out of hand. Chris hopefully did not draw the combo pieces here. And he did not Command and Conquer himself. And so Bartosz arsenals a card, wants to use it for later, and we'll draw up to 4. So nice quick game here from both of our warrior players here. They're trying to wrap it up for us quickly. Get up out on with the rest of their day, go to their next event. But Chris right now, 2 cards in hand to work with. Back to his turn. Fate for Scene. Just come in and hit with a Saber. So last card there in hand, if that's Illumina's Ascension, Chris may just be in there on the next turn. Bartosz at 23. You factor in 30 to 34 damage coming from Chris on his go-to turn. Likely would get it there. You think Bartosz has 2 on the helmet he can use to block with, 2 on the bracers, 1 on the equipment. So if equipment in total is 5. He can block with plus 12 out of the hands, given an optimal block hand. So Bartosz could block a total of 17 if he gives away everything. 17 out of a 31 to 34 point turn. So right now, Bartosz still trying to chip away, trying to knock Chris down before he gets to the combo. Hit and run into the Dawn Blade. So it's 3 go again. No block, no attack reaction. We'll see if there's another Fate Foreseen there for Chris. Big fan of that card. 0 cost. Let you opt for 1, which I think is absolutely money. Now, I'm a Kano player, so that opt for 1 is pretty good. Pretty good, if I do say so myself. You know, I'm not going to say I'm on a winning streak at my local armory events, but hey, I didn't say it. So Bartosz is facing down now a Soul Shield there on the defense reaction there for Chris. 6 defending there. That takes away any sort of Iron Song response. Stroke out for blood, and those only give plus 3. So there's out for blood for 3. Alright. So Bartosz likely has 2 attack reactions there. And it raises reflex. Nice. Look at that. 9 total. Already has go again thanks to hit and run. And we are in the defense reaction state. So Chris needs another defense reaction here if he wants to avoid taking some damage. Now, 1 card in hand there from Bartosz with no energy floating would mean that he would need to pitch the card in hand to re-attack with the Dawn Blade. Now, out for blood will pump it by 1 on the next attack. So it would be a 4 damage based on the board if that's a red pitch in hand. If it's a yellow or greater pitch in hand, he gets to pump it up another 1, coming for 5. Ooh, but a Steel Blade Shunt. Chris, with just the right timed money defense reactions, means Bartosz takes a damage, falls to 20. Chris gets another card in the soul, and he survives for some more turns. That could have been a very scary turn there, but Chris navigated through rather well. He's piloting this through all the flack, through all the craziness, and he's coming out the other side unscathed so far. Now Bartosz down to 20. Remember, he can block 5 from equipment should he choose, and a potential of 12 from hand, so 17 out of a potential 34. So Chris only needs to chip away a few more to almost guarantee this. To almost guarantee this game. If he has the double Lumina's turn. So Bartosz considering what he wants to do. Chris is navigating this rather excellent. For those that like combo decks, I think Boltyn Sabers is probably right up your alley. Forget about the Wizard for a little bit. It's sort of combo-y, but Boltyn Sabers is the classic survive until you have it. And then you got it. Which is every combo player's a little wet dream there. Just get a go off and you go. Your opponent can't stop it. There's nothing they can do, and you can just bathe in their misery, so to speak. Get all of them tears. So Bartosz going to try to avoid it. Starts out with the hit and run. Into a Dauntless. Defense reactions cost an additional one. That would have been so much money last turn. These Dauntlesses are just a turn late. Unfortunately, it hurts my soul. Not Chris's, because he gets to put all those defense reactions in his soul, but it hurts my soul for Bartosz, because my money isn't in his camp, and I don't want to lose my money. But we got Dawnblade coming in here for 6, thanks to the +3 from Dauntless. And over to Chris. He has the life total to take attacks right now and keep his hands healthy for his combo turn. He's getting low though, so he's not going to have too many turns available to him if he does choose to stoke up with his health total. 6 right now. You got to think that there's attack reactions in there. So Chris deciding if he wants to block, which kind of indicates to me he doesn't have it. Is Chris's deck going to fail him? Is he not going to find the other Luminas? And he maybe should have just sent off just the one and get his life total high. He's going to have to eventually choose when he wants to send it. The fact that that card sat in Arsenal for so long leaves more credence or credibility to Lumina. So no block there from Chris. This could be it. Reactions. Let's see if this is a sink below turn or not. Remember, they cost 1 extra. Or the next one costs 1 extra. No reactions there. Down to 12. 20 to 12. Is this it? Is Chris going to find it? Bartosz. Dawnblade hit. It has a go again. He can pump it up and attack. He has guaranteed enough resources for that. So pitching Supremacy to attack again. Did not pump it. Had the Tunic counters to do it. That kind of speaks to me that that's an out for blood in his arsenal. Unless he's already spent the 2. I think he still has the 1 available. I think that this is probably repping 6 damage. Now Chris is at 12, so he can definitely take this. He could keep all the cards in hand if he wants to send it on his turn. Deciding. Makes me believe he doesn't have it. Chris has got to be careful though, because the more damage he takes, he's not going to have the ability to just soak up the damage and keep his hands on his combo look. So if he's not going to go off on his turn, he's very incentivized to just throw the hand out there. No defense, or at least no block declared in the reactions. Bartosz physically can't get it up to lethal range. No reaction so far from Bartosz. No reactions from Chris. Falls to 9. So 20 to 9. Bartosz is potentially in lethal range, which is interesting to think about, but that's combo decks there for you. And Chris going into his turn with a full grip, and you'd have to think that he's got it. He's got the combo here. Is it going to be enough to shut Bartosz down? So Bolt of Courage to start. Putting a card in the soul. So here you go. 0 cost card that allows him to charge. Doesn't even matter how much damage this one does, but for our count, it is 3. If it hits, it will draw a card. Bartosz is likely incentivized to block this one. Get 3 for 3 on a card. His skull cap only blocks for 1 at the moment. If I was him, I would keep that back. You have to think this is the turn. We're gonna find out. I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm waiting. I'm feeling that Chris has it with another Luminous in it. I feel like he has the combo. Is it going to be enough to close out the game? I don't know at this point. It doesn't. The math doesn't quite check out for me just yet. But depending on what Bartosz's hand looks like, it might. If Bartosz does not have a full 12 turn. Yep, blocks a 3. Doesn't want to give the hit. I agree with that one. Ooh, actually, hold on. Chris might have an attack reaction. Oh, wow. Uh-oh, this is definitely the turn. So he's going to Beacon of Victory to give it +1. And he'll be able to search for Illumina's Ascension. All right, so this is it. So Illumina's Ascension. This is the turn. Chris is firing it off. Yep, Snack Dragon to give it go again. And Bartosz will take 1, fall to 19. All right, so Chris is going to do it. We're going to see another 30 damage coming in from these sabers if there's 2 Luminas here. So, Gallantry gone. Double check on the draw. He forgot the draw there. Bartosz going to give it to him, being a nice, friendly player. So a little bit of clarification there on if it hits draw a card. So technically the trigger would have been missed, and Bartosz would have the opportunity to whether or not to put that trigger onto the stack and let that resolve. But Bartosz is going to give it to him because it's not a May. So everybody being very friendly here, trying to keep as competitive of games as possible in terms of play style. Or in terms of just play in general, and not trying to rules shark. So we appreciate that from our players. But this is it from Chris. As I'm talking here, as I'm yapping, we had double Luminas and the first Saber attack here. So this is going to be 30 damage coming at Bartosz. So Bartosz, Chris was going to explain it, and Bartosz is like, I've been around the block a couple times. I know what's coming at me. So it'll be 5x3 from each saber, which makes 30 damage total. Now Bartosz has potentially 9 damage left in hand to block with, plus an additional 5 in equipment. So he can block 13 of it. Excuse me, 14 of it. Math is hard for me. So Bartosz takes the first 5. Chris gains 2 life. So, who do you guys got? Do you have Boltyn taking this here? Bartosz is gonna live through this turn, but it's gonna cost him I think all of the cards out of his hand. He may be able to keep 1. And the real question is Boltyn gonna have enough advantage there from that to keep it going after that? So we're gonna see. So Bartosz 9 to 12. Here comes the next saber. Coming in for 5. They're all coming in for 5 for those just tuning in. We have our Illumina's Ascension go off. Skullcap now active for 2. And there we go. Saber attack number 2. Number 2 saber, number 2 attack. Another block for 5. Bartosz staying at 9. 2 cards still in hand. So Bartosz has 10 more damage coming at him. He's at 9. He has cannot block with the equipment. The only equipment he can block with is the tunic right now. But he could throw a card out of hand here. And block the rest of this 5. So he can take 2 from here and fall to 2. And he'll have no cards left to work with, but he will have the tunic counter available. So Bartosz throws the card out of his hand, blocks 3 of it, takes 2, falls to 2. So Chris with a monster turn here. Ooh, actually gets to go again. Does he have another attack? For 0 in his hand? Let's see. Chris, are you gonna do this? It's courage for 2. Oh no. He's got the tunic. Chris, he just couldn't It needed one more damage. I thought he had it. I thought he was going to get there. I mean, he's pretty close, to be fair. Let's be real. Bartosz falls all the way down to 1 after that Bolt of Courage. But that is just so close. So, a little bit of question here on what's going on. So, Bartosz helping Chris out there. So, the Bolt of Courage says if you've charged this turn, Chris thought you had to charge on that card. So, there was no go on there. So, Chris will just be able to arsenal the card and pass, leaving Bartosz at 1 with only cards in the arsenal. Couldn't keep his tunic because Chris was able to, he had that last free attack, but it just wasn't enough to get the 1. Can Bartosz make a 1-life dream? He's got 1 life in a seat, ladies and gentlemen. My answer to the question of can he do it would likely be no. You got to remember that Chris also plays Steelblade Shunts. And just Dorinthea, all of Dorinthia's attacks are going to be with the weapon. But it's possible. I'm not going to count Bartosz out. I know that I've made that mistake in the past. He's made some absolute wild comebacks, but Chris going to start this off with 5 E-Strike, go again. That's a above average attack there for Boltyn, so not too shabby. Chris following it up with the pressure. He may be able to take it here. Trying to figure out which card he wants to dump from the hand. So, yep, 5 go again. There goes the card. Bartosz helping him out. Telling him he could give it +2. So Bartosz being friendly here, told him he could give it +2 and give it go again from Boltyn as an attack reaction. But Chris says it's too late, so Bartosz is gonna let it. Gonna warn him, but Chris is like, I've already done it, so I'll go ahead. So a little bit of sportsmanship from both players. Bartosz gonna throw everything he can in front of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. 2 cards out of the hand. That's 6. So Chris could have potentially gotten an extra card there or some equipment. If he would have done for 7, he would have got both of those equipment. But now we got Engulfing Light for 2. So Bartosz could throw his equipment in front of there. So he's not out of this yet. He's got 2 equipment. He's got 2 block. And if, yep, blocks for the equipment. Bartosz, so there we go. The E-Strike not being at 7 is going to allow Bartosz a chance at this game. He's got 2 cards in hand, a card in arsenal, and a dream at 1 life. I'm going to be real sad if he gets close and Chris just has a Steelblade Shunt. But, you know, that would be life. And life's not fair. So Chris not going to block the first 3. Bartosz has the glint. All right, good combination. We could have another attack in here for 4 here from Bartosz. So no Steelblade Shunt just yet. Here we go. Bracers coming in. All the energy gone there. So card in the arsenal there. Chris looking at an attack for 4. If he takes it. Well, it doesn't even matter. Fate foreseen. Out of hand. Ops 1. Likes it. Leaves it on top. Chris in command and control of this game right now. Goes back into his turn. Celestial Cataclysm. Banishing 3 cards out of the soul. That's a 7 attack. Bartosz 3 cards there out of the hand. 1 card left in hand. No equipment available to attack to block with. So Chris just needs 2 attacks here. And he's got it. Barring a free defense reaction out of arsenal there from Bartosz. Engulfing Light coming in. Bartosz going to block for 3. So Chris trying to get there. This is the problem with Boltyn, is that you have below average attacks after that. But in the meantime, if this keeps up this way, it really is only a matter of time before Chris takes it. Go back into Bartosh's turn. He draws up. Back into Chris's turn. Chris just needs to string together a handful of attacks. Likely just needs 3 attacks for the turn. Double sabers could probably do it. So far, Bartosz is navigating. He's staying alive. He's staying alive. Yeah, that was horrible. So here we go. Chris coming in. First attack of the turn. I didn't catch it, but Bartosz is going to have to defend it. No choice. Bartosz, 3 cards out of the hand. Chris passes the turn. Bartosz has a card now to work with. Gets to start chipping away. Come on, Bartosz, I believe in your dream. Chris going to block with a Fate Foreseen. So no defenses. Goes to reaction. Bartosz, no attack reactions. Calls it good. Chris liked what he saw. Left it on top. Decks are getting rather thin. Still quite a few turns to go from each. Here we go. Chris pitching 2. Command and Conquer coming in for 6. Now this is only going to get 2 cards out of the hand here from Bartosz. As long as he's not sitting on a hand of defense reactions. This is going to be a good look here for Bartosz. He's going to be able to start coming back. He's going to have a chance. Bartosz, what can you do? Do you believe in the Dorinthea right now, guys? Let me know. Do you have Boltyn taking this? It's going to be close. Oh, boy. Yeah, Bartosz blocking 6. Goes into his turn with 2 cards in hand and 1 in arsenal. Is this the turn there? Is Chris going to take the L from not being able to... from not seeing the E-Strike pumped? And Bartosz tried to let him take it back. Tried to give it to him. But Chris wanted to do it his way. And his way right now is trying to get that 1. But so far not getting it. So Warriors Valley there. Chris gonna go with no defense into Soul Shield. So 6 for 6 at the moment. If Bartosz has a reaction that he can cast here, if there's an Iron Song response in his arsenal, he can give this +3 and get attack again. Has the resources available for it. Needs to hit to go again. 2 cards in hand. Bartosz could pull the other 2 cards out if he can. But he doesn't have it, so it's all good. Passing the turn. Now Bartosz did get 2 cards out of the hand there from Chris. So Chris down to 2 plus 1 in arsenal. But you got to think though, once Chris finds that 3rd Lumina's Ascension, it's game over. So attack for 2 coming in. Bartosz only needs 1 card here. The big thing there, though, is that the Sabres are not going to be able to attack for free. So Chris will still need to have resources available to pay for the pitch. He'll need cards in hand for it. Bartosz blocks for 3. And we're going to end there on Chris's turn. Back into Bartosz. Now he's got an extra card to work with this time. 3 cards in hand, 1 in arsenal. Is Bartosz really going to get there with the dream? You have to think Steelblade Shunt is somewhere. I don't think he used all of them, but he might have. Bartosz doesn't really have a choice. Can't even play around it. This is Dorinthea Dawnblade. No choice there. Boy, I'm going to fall out of this seat if I get any closer to the edge. I tell you what, I'm getting maybe a little bit too hype on this one. Spoils the word start, so +2 go again. 5 total. I believe that's a blue there, so there should be 1 energy floating. Oh, no, that's a yellow's Warrior Valor. No energy floating. Excuse me. No block there from Chris. Going to reactions. No reactions from either player. 5 damage Chris takes down to 6. Unless we've missed a life gain there, but I think we're good. We'll call it 1 to 3 at the moment, or 1 to 4. And I'll expect the players to have the life total accurate themselves. Because at this stage, I can't even remember if we had maybe missed that life there. So here we go. Chris coming back in. Got to charge. Does he have a Lumina's there in Arsenal? He can 2 cards in hand, card in Arsenal. If it hits, draw a card. Well, we know it's not going to hit. That doesn't matter. On-hit effects don't matter here. This is getting rather close. I would be so surprised if Bartosz takes this. I will lose my mind. Ooh, Bartosz overblocks it up to 6. Turns out it was right. Chris gives it plus to try to give go again. Okay, here we go. Chris, Lumina's Ascension Lumina's Ascension there, but he can't pay for the sabers. Okay, so he takes it back to go in with the saber. So yeah, so he did have the Lumina's Ascension, and it wasn't in the arsenal. So Chris just coming in with the saber for 2. You'd have to think though, Chris probably should have kept the Lumina's Ascension in hand, cycled out whatever was in his arsenal, and get that in there. Bartosz opting to throw a Razor's Reflex in there to block. Couldn't keep it in his hand to finish out the game. You'd have to think that would have ended the game there if he could have kept it in hand. Chris, on the other hand, that Lumina's Ascension not being an arsenal means that he was not able to just win right there. So Fate Foreseen there from Chris. Is there an attack reaction from Bartosz and Arsenal? This is the time to do it. He's got it. Yup, there it is. Razor's Reflex. He had another one. So another +4. Chris needs a Soul Shield or his third Fate Foreseen. He's got a Sink Below. Excuse me, neither one. There's another 4. Not gonna cycle out. Likes the cards he sees in hand. And Bartosz was not able to get the cards in there. Hey, he tried. So now here we go. E-Strike, I would imagine, for 7. No. Yep, Chris gonna take Bartosz's advice this time. E-Strike in there for 7. He can use Boltyn's ability to give it go again. Bartosz blocks for 9. Chris did not have any more cards in hand. Did not have a 0 cost attack in there in Arsenal, which is what is that card there in Arsenal for Chris? What is it doing down there? He couldn't use it to attack, so Bartosz now coming in for 3 on the Dawnblade. Chris with the Sink Below. This is a rather close game, probably closer than it should be. Our Boltyn player did his combo, went off, and just couldn't quite finish the game off there. But now Celestial Cataclysm again, 7 go again. Bartosz going to throw 3 cards out there. All he needs is an attack for 4 here. Express Lightning there is going to do it. Is his attack for 4, so Bartosz also only had a potion. Woo! I got worried for Chris. But I was actually starting to believe in the dream from Bartosz. But that'll do it there in round number 4. That closes us out with a little bit of an exciting exciting action. Chris probably could have closed it out multiple turns ago with that E-Strike for 7. But other than that, that'll do it here in round number 4. Remember, guys, thanks for hanging out. On behalf of myself, Streamer Chewy Name, and James, we thank everybody for coming out, watching, and participating in the events. Remember, this Uncharted Realms brings you Out of the Box Gaming's Armory Classic Constructed event. Check out Out of the Box Gaming in person in Thomasville, North Carolina, or online at outoftheboxgaming.com. And we appreciate you guys coming out. Catch us next week. Keep an eye out for Blitz coming up, likely on Friday. Friday. Keep an eye out for a 6-round Blitz event to grind that EXP. And that'll do it here. We'll catch you guys next week.